Hi, my loves. It's Danielle Mercurio, and welcome to another episode of the show. We are going to focus on the autumnal eclipse season, as well as Mars retrograde, and some other things that I want you to be mindful of as we move through the rest of this cosmic season. So get comfortable. Maybe get a little pen and pad ready, or maybe be like Danielle, I'm so here for it already in all the ways that you're sharing that I want to sign up for your workshop, your eclipse experience. Oh, well, I would love that. You can just go to my website, danielmercurio.com, or check out the show notes, and you can totally sign up for the workshop, which is only going to heighten the ways that you move through this. And in the meantime, let's get into the juice of the cosmos. She got a moon, stars, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Neptune, feel it in your eyes. Time for Star Slander. Star Slander. All right, so we're going to use this episode to go a little deeper into the cosmos, aka astrology. And the thing about astrology is that it is an intuitive science. What that means is that it's evolutionary, that it is unique to you and your path. And we are always uncovering more about it, not only personally, but we are witnessing how the planets interplay with each other based on things that have happened before when the planets have done this and based on the current state of our collective. So there's no way that we can be all knowing when it comes to what the planets are going to do, but that's like anything. You know, we look at the meteorologist and they can predict rain, doesn't mean it's actually going to rain or not. They can predict a storm, doesn't mean if it's going to actually blow over. So in this period, we are going to be making predictions and we're going to move through them with a sense of openness, a sense of curiosity. The one thing that we don't want to utilize when moving through this is fear. You don't need to be afraid of the planets, just like you don't need to be afraid of your life. So often we hear eclipse and we freak out. We go to this place of, oh my God, is that bad? And my response is, do you want it to be bad? Because it can be. It's going to merely be a reflection of your energetic state. And if your energetic state is, oh no, this is going to be bad, or oh no, what's going to go wrong, then that's the invitation you're creating. So I want you to release any notion around this period being scary. Yes, we're in Halloween season, but that being said, it's not anything that you have to be afraid of, but embrace and use it for your higher good. The reason why we have this technology is to help raise our awareness and to share with each other so that we can lift each other up, so that we can support each other on this journey called life, so we can keep expanding and evolving more into love, more into warmth, more into well-being, and less into feeling small, feeling boxed in, feeling scared of the stars. So every year, and the more that you get into astrology, again, it's not something that you can just learn in a weekend. It's not one size fits all. It's a life practice. And so the more that you study astrology, the more that you witness it season after season, the more you start to realize that there's trends. And there are moments where the cosmic interplay is more saturated and it's more at a peak. And typically when there's an eclipse, usually we can pretty much guarantee that that's going to be one of those saturated moments. Eclipses are moments that occur 2 to 3 times within our calendar year, and they work with the energy of the earth and the sun and the moon, and the energy is heightened when there is an eclipse. There's more power around the moon, therefore there's more power around whatever moon phase it happens to be in. So we're going to move through the upcoming eclipses. I want to touch on Mars retrograde, talk a little bit about how this relates to the 1111 portal, and some key conjunctions that I want you to look out for. And lastly, we'll talk about the nodes. Okay, so I'm recording this on October 24th. However, any point that you listen to this within the eclipse window is ideal. So yesterday, October 23rd of 2022, Saturn, our planet of rules, leadership, discipline, went direct after being retrograde since the summer. And so Saturn going direct in the sign of Aquarius is already a really great sign, a really great way to kick off the eclipse that's happening on October 25th. Now, Saturn moving direct in Aquarius is really key, not only from this idea of the golden age that we're in, the Aquarian age, this idea that you are the guru, you are the leader, follow and trust the guidance from within because it's coming from a good place. And so Saturn moving forward in Aquarius is indicating that. It's asking you, where can you step up in your own way? Where are you tired of imposter syndrome? Where are you tired of not feeling like you're enough? Where are you continuously comparing yourself and feeling like you're not ready? The best way to be ready is to just go along with the readiness. If the thing that you wanted was to knock on your door, would you truly be ready? That's what we want to be asking ourselves. If this thing that you keep saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, I know this is meant to be, I know I'm meant to do this with my life, I can see it. Great. This is the threshold where it's going to knock on your door. So you're going to open that door, and ready or not, it's here. Will you embrace it? Will you dance with it? Will you let it be a little bit messy? That's what this Saturn directness is going to provide. And then in March of 2023, Saturn will move into Pisces, which will be really interesting. I'm looking forward to it. To be honest, I mean, I was also very much looking forward to Saturn and Aquarius getting together. However, I'm looking forward to the softness that Pisces will bring to Saturn. There's almost this feeling of the restful leader. The themes will start to be, go ahead and live an opportunist life, but make sure you take a nap. Go ahead and work throughout the week, but make sure that you are turning off and turning away from the phone and not scrolling. Scrolling is not rest. I feel like those concepts will be brought to light, and more ideas and information and ways to navigate technology overwhelm will be a big theme when Saturn is in Pisces over the next few years. And it won't be retrograde again until June of 2023. So Saturn kicked us off for our eclipse week. And then today, if you're listening in real time, October 24th, Venus moved into Scorpio. Great. It joined the party. The sun is already in Scorpio. And Scorpio is our moody, mystical, kind of introverted sign. It's very grungy, very Seattle-like, if you will. All the cities have a sun sign, and I definitely identify Scorpio and Seattle, this gray energy together. But that doesn't mean that it's all gloom and doom. It's actually what we love about Scorpio is the most intuitive sign of the zodiac. It is super psychic. It is super knowing. That's why our scorpions are the private investigators of the zodiac, right? And with that being said, with being so knowing, with being so empathic, with being able to walk in a room and feel all the energy within, it also needs to protect itself. It needs to shield. It needs to be covered. That's why a Scorpio can't deny a good hoodie, because it allows them to immerse themselves in this protective layer, in this ability to go quiet, go dark, so to speak. So with Venus moving into Scorpio, it's heightening this idea of using our intuition when it comes to our sexuality. Scorpio also governs the womb space, the testes. It governs the reproductive organs, that space, the sacral chakra. When you turn Scorpio is the 8th sign of the zodiac. You turn it on the side and you get the ovaries, you get the testes, right? So it's very connected to that space. And Venus is our planet of love, passion, romance. And so when we connect that all together, this is an opportunity to reinvent how you, or I don't want to say reinvent because that feels like a very extreme word, but don't be afraid to take what it is that you're looking for in your love life, in your sexual life, to the next level. This is a great period to experiment, to try different things out. This isn't probably a period of great commitment just because of the eclipses. But it's a great time to just enjoy the ride and have fun and be safe, of course, and give consent. But let this be a time where you can be a little bit more liberated sexually, where you can try new things with your partner. This is a great time if you're trying to extend your family. This is a great time to date, but date from the space of taking your time, pacing yourself, and getting to know someone, and maybe dating someone a little different than you normally go for. Don't be so tied to the list of what you're looking for in a partner, and be more into the energetic dynamic of the partner that's in front of you. So that's the move that Venus made. And then our moon, Mama Moon, will be brand new. And one thing that I want you to realize is whatever sun season we're in, the new moon will always be in that sign too. So we entered Scorpio sun season over the weekend on Sunday, and the new moon, therefore, will be in Scorpio as well. Next month, when we're in Sagittarius season, the new moon will be in Sagittarius. Okay. So we have a new moon happening on October 25th, and it is a new moon that is paired with a solar eclipse. So whenever we have an eclipse with a new moon, it's also always going to be a solar eclipse. Why? Because the new moon is reflecting off the sun season we're in, solar, right? So the new moon is always the same sign as the sun season we're in. And then whenever there's an eclipse with the new moon, it is solar. That is how they are all connected. So we're going to have this new moon solar eclipse happening in the wee hours of the morning, depending on where you live, 6:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 2 degrees on the 25th, and his energy is going to be most potent until Thursday of this week. And this eclipse in Scorpio is really going to ask you to look at your blind spots, ask you to stop distracting yourself with things that aren't serving you, asking you to look at your habits, asking you to reflect on your day and be like, where did I show up in a way that felt really good? And what were some things that happened that I noticed dropped my energy or took me out a little bit or got me lost from my intentions of the day? The new moon solar eclipse is going to highlight all of that, okay? We don't really do a ritual per se with the new moon because when we're in an eclipse season, we're highlighting what it is that we need to see. And it's not really a time when we're manifesting. We're just observing, right? Like, what did I say about go on dates and just observe? Look at your life and just observe. This new moon solar eclipse is all going to be about redefining how you show up, your habits, your well-being, the ways that you're taking care of yourself, your confidence, and looking at what's getting in the way. Is it comparison? Is it reaching for sugar? Is it avoiding, that workout? Is it not taking that class that you've been saying you want to take? What is it? Because we all wake up in the morning typically with good intentions, and then somehow we lose those good intentions, or somehow we shift and we say, you know what, I'll just do that intention tomorrow. But then guess what happens? That good intention, it gets a little weaker in the next day. And then we don't feel as called to it. So then we push it off again and again and again. What in your life have you been pushing off that actually has meaning to you? That actually matters? Where are you downsizing yourself? Where are you playing small? Where are you saying, I'm not ready yet, therefore I'm not ready for this intention? It has to wait till tomorrow. And so notice your mindset around it. Notice your physical well-being around it. Notice how you're spending your time. Look at your phone and see what you're doing on there. What are you truly available for? And where are you denying that? This is all going to be illuminated within this week. And so in addition to this week, and we're going to really work with this energy if you're taking my workshop. If you're a member of the Cosmic Channel, it's included. This energy is only going to continue to be illuminated over the next 2 weeks until it connects to the lunar eclipse that we have with the full moon. So whenever there's a full moon and, there's an eclipse, what is it? Oh, it's a lunar eclipse. And the full moon is always going to be in the opposing sign of the sun season and the new moon. So in this case, it would be Taurus, because Scorpio and Taurus are polar opposite signs. So the full moon lunar eclipse will be occurring 2 weeks later, still in Scorpio season, on November 8th, 16 degrees. Also in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, 6:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, this day is really interesting. So, what's interesting about it is a full moon lunar eclipse. Again, we do not do our typical rituals. This is not a time to burn. If you find yourself in someone's moon circle and they're like, let's burn under the eclipse, be like, Danielle Mercurio told me that we're not supposed to do that. Can you clarify why it's a good idea? And see what they say. The reason why we don't burn is because the energy is so freaking heightened, and it's all about releasing things on your behalf. It's all about bringing to light what it is that you need to see, and to burn would be premature. Okay, we do not burn during eclipses. Repeat after me. I will not burn during a lunar eclipse, even if my teacher tells me I'm supposed to. I will question my teacher, and I am allowed to do that. If anything, if you find yourself in that situation, it's because you needed to use your voice. Now, if you're doing my ritual, guess what? You won't be burning. You're taken care of. That being said, this day is also very interesting because Uranus, which is our planet of our nervous system, how we deal with change. Okay, I like to say that Uranus sometimes feels like it's a pain in the ass, right? It will be exact. Okay, when we say exact, it will be completely conjunct. Okay, a conjunction is when a planet is anywhere within 0 to 8 degrees of another planet. It will be in the exact same degree, 16 degrees, as this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. That's like a big freaking deal. Okay, so what do we do with this exactly? Get it? Okay, so the Uranus will be actually in retrograde in Taurus, making an exact conjunction to this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, 16 degrees. 16 adds up to 7. 7 means keep going. You're on the right track. It is going to ask you to, once again, it's going to take all that data that you got because of the new moon solar eclipse, all that data around where you need to change, where you're ready to improve your life, where you're ready to advance forward, what you're ready to start saying yes to, what it is that you're saying no to. It's going to take all of that data and it's going to push you forward into the next phase. So if you're ready, if your nervous system is regulated, if you're not afraid, you will be really, really, really excited about this phase. You will really benefit from it. You will get a beautiful nudge. You will get a lot of encouragement. You will feel ready to continue to move forward with the things that you want to move forward with. Okay. Now, if you are ignoring all of this, you want to keep scrolling on your phone, you want to keep going back to that person, that's a total situationship that makes you feel crazy. You want to keep denying your gifts. You want to keep, abusing certain aspects of your life. Then what this transit will do is it will kind of shock you in that area. It will somehow, a big, explosion will happen in that area. You will either get sick, or that person that you've been chasing, will reveal something to you that'll be far worse than if you had just walked away. You'll, feel discouraged in one way or another. And that's, again, it's not meant to scare you. It's just the universe has no choice. It doesn't know what else to do. You're choosing to stay in something that's not serving you. So this conjunction is going to say, like, let us heighten this so that you can really see how bad it's getting. It's almost like what it's doing is, it's kind of cool in a way. It's almost like you get into like a little time machine, and it's moving forward in time, and it's advancing you quickly to see what you need to see, so that you don't have to wait until the spring, that you don't have to wait until the next year. You don't have to wait until the end of 2023 to finally be like, shit, I want to get out of this situation. Okay. This is literally saving you time. Okay. We want to look at this full moon lunar eclipse as a time saver, as the ability to see into the future and realize that you can keep dragging this out and hurting yourself, or you can release it and be free and trust what you had to learn. Be grateful for the lesson and keep going. Sometimes when we're on a spiritual path, I was thinking about this yesterday, I think we always think we have to collect lessons. And we do, right? It's part of our evolution. It's part of how we grow. It's part of how we release karma. But I don't want you to make that part of your soul spiritual identity, that I'm here to constantly learn lessons, because then we could constantly be putting ourselves in situations that are harmful, that are painful, that are confusing. So give yourself a little break every now and then from these lessons. And for many of us, this eclipse season may present another lesson, but it's also going to present an opportunity to move on and be in the yummy space of the aftermath of learning the lesson. That's the juicy part right there. That's where you get to have a really amazing growth spurt, if you will. In our country, in the United States, what's interesting is it's election day. Ooh, I know in the state that I live in, South Carolina, we're reelecting a new governor. Really hoping that the Democratic opponent wins. Joe Cunningham, little shout out. Don't really want to see the old white man reelected, just saying. It's midterm elections as well. So there's a lot of pressure on our society, our collective, our nation in the United States, which then, of course, has a ripple effect on the rest of the world while this day is happening. And my hope is that we will also be churning out who isn't meant to be part of the government and bringing in those who are a better fit going forward. That is my hope with the energy that is happening. You know, our nation, the United States, is still in its what do I want to call it? In its Pluto return. And Pluto is going to be in Capricorn for just a couple more years. And then eventually it's going to move into Aquarius, which I'm super excited about. But until then, our nation is slowly recalibrating, slowly refining, slowly trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And there's a lot of trial and error. And it does take time because there's like, what, billions of people that live here. The government has amassed a lot of baggage, so it's going to take some time, but I'm hopeful that this eclipse dynamic on election day will serve us. Now, while these eclipses are happening, there's also an interesting effect that's coinciding with it, and that's the nodes. So in astrology, we have what's called a north node and a south node. You may have heard about it. It's these 2 points on the moon, and it's kind of like a north pole and a south pole. And so the south node is all about karma, lessons we need to learn, things we've carried on from a past life. And then our north node is all about our destiny, really rising into our truth, why we're here, how can we best show up. And we all have different nodes. My nodes, for example, are Sagittarius South Node, Gemini North Node, and they're always polar opposites. So back in January of 2022, the node shifted into Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node. Now, some of you may have that. You might look at your chart and be like, whoa, Danielle, I am a Taurus North Node and a Scorpio South Node. Amazing. You are going through what's called your nodal return. And nodal returns last for about a year and a half. So from January of 2022 until July of 2023, are collectively, the planets are showcasing the nodes in this. And then for some of you, you may be going through your nodal return. Now you may notice, wait a minute, this nodal return lines up with where the eclipses are. Hey, how about that? Wait a minute, I think it did it last time around when the eclipses were in Gemini and Sagittarius. Interesting, right? It doesn't always happen this way, but right now we're going through some trends where the nodes are lining up with the eclipses, which I think are really cool and really impactful. So if you're going through your nodal return, you may be feeling this probably more than anybody else, even more than some of my people that are a Taurus or Scorpio moon. I think my Taurus and Scorpio moons are feeling it too. But if you're going through your nodal return, you're really being asked to get it together, to go within, to be in that space of alignment and trust your truth. Trust your path, trust what it is that you feel called to do, because it is leading you somewhere and the eclipses are helping to flesh that out. So collectively, with the nodes coinciding with the eclipses, it just shows we are living in times where we have a great responsibility to show up in a way that honors dignity and respect, that honors intuition, that honors being grounded, that honors not following along with everybody else and what everybody is telling us to do. It's really, really, really important. Taurus is all about the earth, about being rooted, about being grounded, about knowing your worth, living a life that feels good and that you can give back from that life. So important. They go hand in hand in that way, very much so. So that's kind of a trend within a trend. And then another thing that's happening, another planet that's making moves this year into next is Mars. Mars is our planet of action, how we move things forward, motivation. Now it entered into Gemini a couple months ago or towards the end of summer. And on October 30th at 9:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will be going retrograde in Gemini until January 23rd of 2023. So 1/23/23. Mars will be in retrograde. So Mars going retrograde in the middle of these eclipses, in Gemini is a really interesting dynamic, okay? Gemini is our twins, it is our diamond, it is our multifaceted, very curious, very Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, anthropologist kind of person. And so this Mars in retrograde is going to encourage you to ask questions, is going to encourage you to look under the hood, is going to encourage you to look at the people that you're surrounding yourself with, the people that you're following, the people that you're listening to, and saying, are they illuminating my highest potential? Are they bringing out the best in me? Or are they sabotaging me? Or are they distracting me? Or are they just kind of coasting with me? This Mars retrograde might ask you to redefine your community, the community that you're part of, the community that you're showing up for. It may also, and if you are a Mars Gemini, you're going to be feeling it the most. Maybe if you're a Gemini sun, you're also going to be feeling it. You can also look to see where is Gemini in your houses, because there's going to be some refinement in that area, right? Retrograde is just about refinement, about doing things differently, about reversing into another way. So this Mars retrograde is also going to shift the ways we look at the masculine. And we need the masculine, okay? The rise of the feminine is beautiful, but we can't just fully rise into feminine or else we're going to have problems as well. There's going to be just as many issues in a way. I think if I had to pick, I'd rather it be more dominant feminine, but at the same time, that's not the point. The point is to get into a nice bouncy place where there's equal parts feminine and masculine. And this might help with that. We might be seeing, storylines and things about inequality in the workplace. We might be seeing more topics around, justice when it comes to, who we are and how we're showing up and how we can support each other. Those themes are going to be running through with this Mars retrograde as well. Again, nothing to be afraid of, just things to be curious about. The cosmos are just literally these little reflectors on your life, just being like, hey, let us help you here, or let us make you aware of this, or let's advance in that way. And to keep kind of jiving from that space. This all happening in Scorpio season, a highly intuitive season when the veil from where we are dwelling on Earth to the spirit world is the thinnest. We'll be moving through Halloween, also known as Samhain, also known as the day that follows Samhain, All Souls Day. So we're in a very precious portal where our intuition, our ability to connect with source, with spirit, is more heightened than ever. Be open to it. Don't deny it. Don't block it. Don't hold yourself back. For me, sometimes I'll get into a groove and then that groove feels too good. So then I find a way to kind of slow down the groove or slow myself down. And when I say slow myself down, not like denying rest, but denying progression. Don't deny the progression and the aspects that are all coming together during this window. And then a couple days after this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. So again, if you're taking my workshop, I guide you through all these different components. I'll also be hosting a workshop on 11/11. So we're going to have an 11/11 portal in the year 2022. Love that. 11 plus 11 equals 22. So we're going to have double 22 energy, which adds up to 44, which adds up to 8. What? So yummy, right? This is a very abundant portal that we're moving into. And you are going to, and we'll do a whole nother look into 1111. However, if you really want to maximize and manifest and do all the yummy things that you're so into for 1111, you will take the eclipse portal seriously. You will look at this Mars retrograde. You will honor Saturn going direct. You will embrace this Scorpio season. And we'll keep moving through from there. Okay. So lots of cool things in our sphere, lots of positionings of the planets that are all here to illuminate, to create awareness, and to give you the wherewithal to keep going, keep growing. Okay. Be gentle on yourself. Sometimes eclipses can affect our technology. It can feel like a Mercury retrograde. We are not in a Mercury retrograde. We're not going to have one until December 29th of this year. So there's no Mercury retrograde. There's no Mercury retrograde shadow anymore. So you don't have to worry about that. But eclipses can cause some weird tech stuff. So just don't overload your schedule. Try not to do too much from the space of your computer. Take time off from your phone. Those things will really help. Spend time in meditation. Have a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things in the morning, 3 things at night. Notice your language during this time. If you keep saying, I'm afraid of this, or it's never going to happen, or I'm trying, be like, I'm doing the best that I can. It is happening. It is coming together. It already is. I want you to realize that you're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And you are moving forward in a way where you're doing things that are different, that will have a sustainable and more long-lasting impact on you for the future. So watch your language. Notice when you're saying things that aren't true or aren't claiming how you want to move forward in a way that feels more responsive and more expansive. Those things can help as well. Taking care of your body, drink lots of water during this time. Lots of water. Move into foods of your season. Okay, so things like burdock root, goldenrod. I actually have a little list for you of things that are really great. Grounding foods that could be really useful. Where is my little list? Hold on. Okay. Things that will help during this time: elderberry, rosehip, dandelion, hawthorn, maitake mushroom, ginkgo. Those are all things that will support your nervous system during this cosmic season and also during the fall season. If you're having trouble sleeping, sometimes our sleep cycles can be eradicated during this time. Catnip is really great for that. Valerian root is also really awesome. Making things with cardamom, clove, ginger, all really helpful during the season. Avoid excess sugar, especially like things that are very high in like a cane sugar or like a syrupy sugar. We want to watch out for those kind of things because they can also kind of hijack the cosmic alchemy that is at play. Natural fats are really great. Coconut oil, soups, not too high in sodium. Again, this isn't meant to be regimented, like intuitively flow through it. Just notice if there's anything in excess that you're doing that you're like, maybe I'm splurging a little bit too much, and just reel it back a little bit, right? One thing that I do in the fall, especially when the clocks start to go back, I try to eat dinner a little earlier before it gets dark. Now, again, I know that we don't always have control of our schedule and those things, but if you can maybe you were eating dinner at 7, now you eat dinner at 6 or 6:30. Those are all things that help us move with the cycles that we're currently in fall as well. So trusting this was useful, this is beneficial. I would love to have you for the New Moon Solar Eclipse Workshop. If you're not able to join live, you can always get the replay and do it within this window that we're in leading up to the full moon lunar eclipse on November 8th. And I will have a ritual and process for you to do during that window as well. And then I'll have a whole nother workshop coming up for 11/11 as well. Thank you for supporting me as I support you. And cheers to your cosmic success, my love.